Welcome, everyone. Welcome to VW MOOC 24 and week 4. This is our final week, and we've got a few sessions. We've had a few already, and today it's about AI tools for research. Going to ask you if you could add in the chat box a few things. I've got a few questions for you, if you could do that. So and if you need a pen or pencil, paper, whatever you need, or your phone, you can get ready with that. Right. So AI tools for research. A little bit about me, if you don't know. I've been, most of my life, I taught English as a foreign language and as a second language in the K-12 and in higher education. I applied CALL, which is computer-assisted language learning, in all of my classes. Let me get my video there. In all my classes, I generally had 2 computer rooms, and I would run from one computer room to the other. They were pretty close to each other, but I still had to run around. And it was quite scary at the beginning, which seems kind of funny today. But anyone who's afraid of technology, I can relate to that because I was scared. But it's been quite a while since the early 1990s when I started this. I currently offer free online professional development programs on a Moodle website called Integrating Technology. The Moodle site went through a few names, but now it's Integrating Technology. It used to be called Moodle for Teachers. I combine learner autonomy, team, peer-based learning, because I believe in learning in teams. I can't see myself giving a class, a face-to-face class, or an online class, but specifically a face-to-face class, without having collaborative learning and team-based learning in the classroom. So that's how I usually give my classes. I believe in peer-based learning, which is where students actually teach one another. And I stand back and just do what I can to support them. I use technology and mindfulness. All my classes have mindfulness touches to them here and there, where students learn about mindfulness, practice mindfulness. I generally do it at the beginning of the class, but I also do it in the middle and sometimes at the end before they go on to their other classes. I am the past chair of TESOL Call IS. This is my final year, and I just left Electronic Village Online, so I'm no longer on EVO 25, and I won't be giving any courses or so-called sessions there. I'll only be giving them on integrating technology. I currently teach at a Greek university, fully online on a Moodle platform. It's an IMT, Master of Science program, and the name of the university changes every year. They go from one university to another, and this year you can see it's Democritus University of Thrace. That's a little bit about me. You've all heard many things, and I'm sure you've tried some AI tools for research, for literature review, and for other reasons. As I said, I've got a few questions for you. So if you could write them down, that would be great, or the answer. You can also write down the questions. It's a KWH before the L, which is, what do you know about AI tools for research? That's the first question. So if you could just add it next to K and a little bit of what you know. This is not a quiz. There's no right answer. I'm just curious to see why you're here. And I'd like to help you gain as much as possible. So what do you know so far about AI tools for research? Okay, so we've got Elizabeth for the K, not much, lots to learn. So not much is not enough, little bit, just some little thing. Maybe you know a name of an AI tool for research. So if you could write the name of that tool, a little bit that you know. Anyone else? What do you think? Okay, there we go. Thank you. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. All right. Okay, so that's what you know. Other than ChatGPT, I know probably 20 apps for art. Okay, we're talking about AI for research, but you know things about a generative AI, and that's art, writing, coding, and parasocial relationships. All right. Okay, so that's a start. See if you can think of AI for research and what you know. So I see that not much, if I can say that. All right. So what would you like to know? And don't tell me everything. What would you like to know? Try to be as specific as you can. So that's the W. Okay, the W. What would you like to know? Okay, thank you, Dr. Karan. You mentioned Gemini AI. And for research, I've avoided, okay, due to model collapse. I would like to know the accuracy. Oh, very good questions. Yes, accuracy and reliability. How accurate and reliable are they? That's a very, very important question. So that's the W. Okay, so there is a kind of, I don't know, hesitation when it comes to AI tools. My next question is how? How would you learn about AI tools? So that's the H. We're not going to get into the L. The L is learning. That'll come at the end, and we'll see what you've learned. So keep that in mind. So how? You say that you will keep checking, or you're talking about the, okay, so attending webinars, okay, mine or other people's webinars. That's right. That's one way of learning. Any other how you will get this information, this lack of information, something that you needed? For example, you mentioned accuracy. So how will you get information on accuracy? Because this is something that you want to know. So you say librarians are creating LibQuids to help people research at academic libraries. So you're saying that accuracy might be checking at libraries, whether online, doesn't really matter, they're all actually online, or face-to-face libraries. So checking at libraries. Any other way that you can get this information? LibQuid. There's a link, AI-generated content and citations, research guides from the University of Waterloo, Canada. Right, great university, great choice. Thank you for that. All right, so this is what I got. This is the information that I got from ChatGPT 4.0 when I asked the question. Okay, and the question was, I mean, the answer was that AI powered tools, you know, the word powered is always there. They're powering tools are revolutionizing literature reviews. And we're going to go through eight of them today that I've been using. And they are revolutionizing literature reviews. Now, I hope that sounds encouraging. If they're accurate, of course, by offering fast and accurate methods of sourcing, analyzing, and synthesizing scholarly information. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for validation for any information by utilizing natural language processing and machine learning. So it's being developed as we speak. These tools scan databases, and these come from libraries in various places, identify key themes, and provide comprehensive insights, saving researchers time and effort. So again, fast, accurate is what's important. And to what extent are they effective? Okay, that's my question. How effective are they, in fact? Looking at the chat to see if there's anything else. Keep adding to the chat. Thank you, as we go. All right. So there's my YouTube channel. I've got lots of videos on all the 9 actually AI tools for research that you can watch. And the PowerPoint presentation is available, and I'll add it to the chat. I also added in Second Life. This was supposed to be in Second Life, but apparently the region is resetting itself. And we don't know how long that's going to take. So we're here. Maybe we'll be able to go there at some point. So what is this? Does it look familiar? Let me know in the chat. Where have you seen, or does it remind you of something you have seen this before? Sorry about that. Let me go back here. Have you seen this anywhere? Or something similar? Let me know in the chat. Yes, no. Does it remind you of anything? Yes, no. My life is a career. Okay. Okay. It looks like where do you think this, where is it? Where would you find it? The library. Ah, it's at your workplace. All right. That's a nice library. Andrea. All right. It looks wonderful, right? With the books. It takes me back to my days as a student when I worked as a librarian assistant, and I worked day and night because I loved it so much. So that's just to take us back. And this. How does this appeal to you? What does it remind you of? How do you feel about it? Okay, I'm looking for comments. Reference library. And this one, futuristic library, that doesn't exist yet. Are you sure? Doesn't exist. Would you like it to exist? Oh, okay. So we've got some comments here. Don't like the robots there. Robots can be librarians, useful librarians. So you don't like the humanoids? Any other comments? You prefer people. All right, so we need that human touch, but you can get information really fast and accurate. So something to think about. Will this be the future? The robots look like bots one finds at Humber River region. Okay. They could be real people. Oh, you want them to look like real people. That's possible. Okay. They are developing that as we speak. The humanoids will look more human-like than they do. They'll be able to dress up. All right. So let's take a look at some of the tools that I'm going to share with you today. Now, I want you to think of this as a supermarket. When you go into a supermarket, what do you see around you? Supermarket. What does the supermarket have? Food and other items, right? Right, different items. These days, they could even have, it's not just food anymore. It could be clothing. It could be anything. It's more like a department store because they have everything. All right, so Chilbo's ready. So here we are at VW MOOC. I hope you are able to join us. If not, you're welcome to stay in Zoom, or you could be in both. So far, for those of you who are here and were not here before, let me go through the slides. All right, so we talked about Kay, what do you know about AI tools for research? And then, what would you like to know? That was our second question. And how are you going to get the information? All the AI tools that I'll be introducing today claim that they are fast and accurate and that they do all these things. Okay, but it's like a supermarket. When you go into the supermarket and you're bombarded with different items and colors and very appealing packaging, you look at everything and you read what's in the back. And if you don't know what you're buying, of course, you take a look at everything and then you decide. How do you decide what product you're going to buy? How are you going to decide? Because everything looks appealing and the advertisers know how to market their products. It's the same way with AI tools. They're very, very tempting, but the only way to really know whether they're accurate and whether they're fast, but some are faster than others, of course. But accuracy is super important, but not only accuracy. What else would be important for you? I'm looking at the chat and I'm looking at both chats. What else is important for you? Well, if you didn't mention it, we did mention it in another session, and that is ethical concerns. There are lots of ethical concerns. For example, where does the information come from? How is it used? Is the AI tool biased? How is it biased? We don't get this information. And this is information that we do want to get. We do want to know where the information came from. How did it get to the database? Okay. The journey is really, really important to us. So first of all, we're bombarded with information that may overwhelm us because there's so many tools, and the tools are mushrooming as I speak. There's a new tool just about every week. And if you're interested in some of the tools, as I mentioned before, you'll find them on my YouTube channel because I usually try them out. And I think that's what everybody should do. So this is what they claim. All the tools claim that the process is very, very fast. So instead of reading a book or an article, you can get summaries of the information and as well as themes very, very quickly. The tools are able to analyze amounts of information, data that is much faster than you can do. It would take you perhaps years to read all the articles. So speed is one element that is part of these AI tools. The summaries are concise. They're very accurate, but you still have to check, of course. That's something that we all need to do. There are tools where you can get information from PDF files, and you can also ask questions. I don't know how many of you have used these tools to ask PDF files questions. By the way, with ChatGPT 4.0 for free, you can also upload PDF files and then ask ChatGPT to summarize And you can also ask questions about the PDF files. But these PDF chat AI tools are very, very accurate. Some of them are limited. The free versions are limited, but chat PDF is quite good, and you can add unlimited PDF. I mean, they can be as long as you wish. You can also analyze data through Julius, which is a nice tool. You'll find the links to these tools that I mentioned in the Google Docs. I think it's, I still have it on my mouse. Yes, there it is. So you can check that out. You'll get all the links that you need. ChatGPT also has GPTs, which are now free for anyone with ChatGPT 4.0. The GPTs cost money to develop, but they're free to view and to use. They also synthesize information. I remember that when I was doing my doctoral research, I sat on the floor in the living room, and I had my legs open. I mean, I spread my legs, and I had all these cards on the carpet, and I would try to go through the cards and try to find a theme. And that took a lot of time, and I wasn't sure of myself, really. But with these tools, you can synthesize the information and get all kinds of themes that might be suggestions for themes that might be better than the ones that I came up with. Might be interesting to do it again with such a tool these days and see what themes they come up with, maybe better ones that I came up with. And then this makes the literature review a lot easier. By the way, how many of you have done literature reviews at some point or plan to, maybe in the future? Literature reviews. Okay, so I see some of you have done many. I think it's worthwhile doing because it's a way to learn. Okay, it's a wonderful way to learn because I think that's a very, very, inspiring and a way to sustain learning, because you won't forget when you do a literature review, you are so engrossed and immersed in the process that you gain a lot of information just by the fact that you're doing a literature review. So it's highly recommended if you want to learn about something to conduct a literature review. You can also find articles, recent, current articles that you may find hard to find on, say, Google Scholar. Before AI tools, I use Google Scholar extensively to find articles, peer-reviewed articles, and citations. And then I would go to my library, my online library at the university, not where I work, but at the University of Phoenix. And there I would ask for the articles if they were very current, because generally online libraries don't always have the most current ones. And that's how I would know about them. I wouldn't know about them unless I went to Google Scholar. But now it's a lot easier to find them because the search is a lot faster and better, more accurate on with these AI tools. So if you've used Google Scholar, by the way, how many of you have used Google Scholar? I'll write it in the chat here. Google Scholar. If you're not familiar with it, I think it's still, I mean, I check things there to make sure that the articles are really accurate. Google Scholar. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, we all have. I mean, most of us have profiles. If you've written anything, generally Google will find you. If you've got articles out there that have been published, you'll be able to access you'll have a Google profile on your Google Scholar. So we can look for each other. You can look for me, and I can look for you as well. So that's Google Scholar. It's really worthwhile checking it out. I use Chrome, so I have it a Chrome extension. I have it right there so I can look at it every once in a while, and I use it on a daily basis, especially for citations. They offer citations in various styles. I use APA 7, but there are other styles as well that you can find there. Another thing that I know is difficult for researchers, and that's finding gaps, especially for doctoral students, finding gaps, because you don't want to, well, I don't. You want to write and you want to publish something that is new. So research gaps are very important, and these AI tools help you in a much faster way find gaps. And of course, you can improve your writing with Grammarly. How many of you use Grammarly? I don't use Grammarly, but I know a lot of people who use Grammarly. I trust my writing. But if you don't, you can use either one of the generative AI tools. It could be Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, or anything else that you, Claude, or Perplexity, which we'll talk about later. And of course, the references, the formats. These are the tools. Which tool have you heard of or you use? There's Consensus, Elicit, Kineas, Litmaps, SciSpace, Scholarly AI, Semantic Scholar, and Perplexity. And I'm sure there are new ones. I keep getting new ones knocking at my door, so to speak. Companies asking me to create a video for them. So I usually know the ones that are coming up. So I'm looking at the chat here in Zoom, and I'll look at the chat in Second Life as well to see none. Gemini in my writing. Okay, that's good. But with Grammarly, thank you for answering that. And I see here in Zoom, let me check that out. Kineas, nice. All right, so what do you like about Kineas? You use a writing teacher trainer, their own voice. Yeah, makes me that harder. Yeah, I don't, I can't use Grammarly. Yeah, I like to use my own writing as well. I like my writing style. And by the way, I cannot use ChatGPT or any other AI tool for my writing because it doesn't come close to the way I write, and I do like the way I write. Okay, so it's up to you, actually. Of course, there's a question of native speakers versus non-native speakers when we speak about English. Non-native speakers depend on Grammarly and other tools, and they also depend for their writing on generative AI to help them with the writing. I wonder how you feel about that. I feel that it's fine. I think that getting help is not a bad thing, as long as you cite and let everyone know that you used Google Gemini or ChatGPT to help you edit your writing. I don't think that, that's my opinion. I don't think that I could do that unless I gave the source of my sentences, maybe not words. You know, with words, that's fine. You could use a dictionary. But I think for sentences, writing whole chunks of sentences or copying and pasting from ChatGPT or another generative AI just doesn't feel right for me. But it might for you, and that's something that's debatable. Of course, we don't want to plagiarize, but actually, you can't be caught using, and students, this is another concern, students cannot be caught because there aren't tools out there. They're trying to develop them, but there isn't a tool that's able to know the difference between machine and human writing. So that's not there yet. So I see that you don't know any of these tools, is that correct? Except for Kineas, one person knows Kineas? I do let my students use these tools. I recommend them at the beginning, but I ask them to cite whatever tool they're using for information. And if they quote from any of these tools, they also have to cite as a quote. And as an English language teacher with my experiences, I can tell the difference right away. Not just with non-native speakers, but also with native speakers. I can tell whether they're using ChatGPT, for example, or any other tool or not. Very easy to detect, but you can't prove it. That's the problem. All right, so let's take a look at some of these. Consensus. All these, except for Kineas and Elicit, can be used for free on ChatGPT 4.0. So you don't need to go for the pro version. You get the pro version when you use ChatGPT 4.0, which is completely free because they have a GPT. What do you know about GPT? Have you heard the term GPT? GPT. Anyone? GPT? I'm writing it both chats here. It's part of ChatGPT, but it's GPTs. A lot of GPTs. In fact, I developed about 11 or 12 of them, and I'll probably develop more. That's right. That's what it stands for, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's part of ChatGPT. Google, Gemini is developing something now as well, and I think they have developed, I don't know if it's open to the public yet, but GPTs are free to use, but they're not free to create. So Consensus has a GPT for free on ChatGPT 4.0, and it's free for you to use. But Consensus had to pay. It's not that much money. They just have to pay for the pro. Elicit has a very aggressive marketing system, very aggressive. I don't know if you've used Elicit. From what I saw, only one of you used Kineas. But Elicit, and again, I said it's like the supermarket. You go into a supermarket and you have to decide. Okay, there's Consensus, Elicit, Kineas, Litmaps, and the others. Which one are you going to use? Are you going to go by the marketing, by the way they try to get you to buy it? Because you are going to sort of buy it. You're going to try it. You're going to use it for your literature review or for your research. How are you going to decide which one to use? Will marketing affect you? And as I said, Kineas has a very aggressive marketing business plan. Okay, again, if you want to know about GPTs, go into ChatGPT 4.0. On the left, you will see Explore GPTs. And then you'll get a search engine and you write Consensus, and then Consensus will come up and you'll be able to ask questions and add prompts using Consensus. So that's how it's done. Again, you go into ChatGPT 4.0, and then on the left, you will see Explore GPTs. You hit the Explore GPTs, you write Consensus or Litmaps, but you can't write, well, you can write Elicit, or you can write research tools, and maybe you'll get some of these, but you might not. So Elicit, as I said, you have to try it to see how accurate it is. It's fast. And whether you like the way it looks and feels, just the way you do at the supermarket. You have to choose what brand you want, and these are brands. Some of them are more popular than others because of their marketing strategies. That is all. So it's up to you to really to get to know them. I can't tell you. I personally don't like Illicit. I don't know if you got that from my tone, but I don't. I do like Kineas. Kineas is amazing, and it integrates with Google Docs. So if you're a Google Docs user, you will probably love Kineas. It also integrates with Microsoft Word, and it works really well with that as well. So either Google Docs or Microsoft productivity applications, and I think you'll like it. Lit Maps looks amazing, and it stands for literature maps. If you like maps and the way they look, you will like this. Another layout, but again, you'll see visual mapping. So if you're that kind of learner or researcher that likes mapping of research connections, where you have the nodes and it goes in every direction, you will like this. And the colors on lit maps are amazing. My favorite, by the way, is Consensus, because I've been using it and I like what I get. I like the results. But again, you got to try them before you can decide. SciSpace, I can't believe that none of you heard of SciSpace. It's absolutely amazing. It's also for free on ChatGPT 4.0. It's a GPT that SciSpace developed. It's completely free there, and you get the pro version without having to pay for it on ChatGPT for it. It looks amazing. And it also has other features such as manuscript preparation and editing features, which is so important. I think you will like it. And it also has collaborative research tools so that you can work with others. You're not alone, you can collaborate, which is another reason that I like it. Now, Scholarly AI is also on ChatGPT 4.0. It's a GPT. And it's very personalized. In other words, it's not collaborative in any way. I'm talking about the GPTs. I'm not talking about ChatGPT 4.0 and using that. I know it's limited. I'm talking about the GPTs on ChatGPT 4.0. Okay, I'm not talking about it as a as an AI tool. And then there's Semantic Scholar. Semantic Scholar is also a GPT so that you can access it for free. You'll find that these GPTs are much faster than ChatGPT 4.0 when you prompt it. And the reason is that it's not with ChatGPT 4.0, because it's free, there are too many people there. It's overpopulated. Because it's overpopulated, it doesn't let you do things when you want them. And if you want images, it'll limit you. It'll tell you to hold on, you're going too fast. But with the GPTs that I mentioned here, it's very fast and you shouldn't have any problems. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. Yes, exactly. We're talking about GPTs on ChatGPT 4.0. But we're not talking about ChatGPT 4.0 because it has its limitations with a free version, of course. Right. So I wanted to go back to Perplexity and talk a little bit about Perplexity. How many of you have tried Perplexity? Now, what I like about Perplexity is like ChatGPT, but it's better than ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever. It's better than the Pro, and I have the Pro, and it's free. So try Perplexity. You will be amazed. Now, again, we're at the supermarket where marketing and the brands have all these colors and everything to catch your eye. They're at the front of the shelf to capture your attention and so on. Perplexity does not do that. But ChatGPT, there's a lot of buzz around ChatGPT, get ChatGPT, as if that's the only thing around. I'm not, and Claude does the same thing, but Perplexity does not. But if you go into Perplexity, you will be perplexed. You will be completely surprised. It's absolutely amazing. How I got to know it, I wrote down my name, Dr. Nellie Deutsch, and I got so much information about me from the internet, from everywhere, from articles, from you name it. And I was shocked. The information was 100% accurate. When I asked ChatGPT about Dr. Nellie Deutsch, I didn't get the truth. In fact, and I'm talking about the pro, in fact, ChatGPT tells me that I teach in Florida. It has the link of my website at the university, which is complete nonsense. So ChatGPT hallucinates quite a bit. Perplexity does not. But it doesn't have that much buzz, so people don't know about it. And it's a shame because it's absolutely amazing. So write down Perplexity and go into it. If you go into my slides, I'll put them again in the chat. You'll be able to get the link to everything, plus to Perplexity. So highly recommended. All right, let's continue here with the references. These are the references that I use. By the way, for images, I highly recommend Ideogram or Microsoft Design. Copilot is nice, but I prefer Microsoft Design. How many of you have tried Microsoft Design? I'm sure many of you have for images. ChatGPT has DALL-E, but it's not that great. It's getting better, but it's not there yet. Ideogram, and I'm not sure which is better, Ideogram or MS Designer. It depends on the day. Sometimes I prefer this. I use both. So any comments on images, what you use? And I try to cite the images that I use because they're not my images. When I create an image on Canva, it is mine because I did a lot of work. Or if I create an image on other tools like Snagit, it's mine. And I know what I put into it. But with prompting, I don't feel that it's mine, even though some people do feel it, but I don't. So if you feel that the prompts make you feel ownership of the image or of the text, I can't argue with that. It's how you feel about it. Of course, you have to change the prompts all the time. Okay, so that's yes, that's an idea. Very good, Peonia. The idea, if you want to try others in the supermarket of generative AI for images, there are a lot of them. And by the way, you can find them on ChatGPT 4.0. There are lots of GPTs for images, for everything that you could ask for. So the GPTs are worth a lot more than ChatGPT does, but they're on ChatGPT 4.0. And of course, there's an article from 2024. I found these articles using consensus mostly on hallucinations, AI hallucinations, misnomer worth clarifying. And as I said, I also use DALL-E AI. On OpenAI, and I use that. Oh, by the way, DALL-E is also a GPT now. It's a Chat GPT, but it's a GPT, which means that it's a lot faster. And then these are some of the other references. Notice I got the information from OpenAI, the information on consensus, illicit, Kineas, litmaps. I didn't make this information up. I got it from there. Okay, from OpenAI. And I also have some images from ChatGPT. And the codes I took from QR Monkey. By the way, how many of you are familiar with QR Monkey. It's completely free. You don't even have to have an account. Um, I don't log in, I don't have an account. And you get everything, all the QR codes for free on QR Monkey. Let me know in the chat if you used QR Monkey. It's really, really amazing. And I don't understand how they do it for free. I really don't. What's their business plan? You wouldn't have anything free in the supermarket. So I don't understand it, but I'm very happy with it. And if they can do it, and there are no ads. Okay, it's not as if they have ads on the site. And I also use Skybox. I don't know if I like it that much. It has 360 degrees images. But as Doris mentioned, you have to keep adding different prompts to get what you want. It takes time, a great deal of time, which is why sometimes I prefer Canva because it's a lot faster. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. You don't need to log in. That's what's wonderful. And you can have, as you saw in my slides, notice you can have the colors. You can have the brand in there. VW MOOC 24 was added, and I didn't have to pay anything, and I didn't have to log in for that. So there, I hope you can use the QR codes. And as I said, I've got lots of videos in my YouTube channel. You just write consensus under my channel. You'll be able to get consensus, Perplexity, or any of the other tools. Okay, so now we can get to the L. We had the W, what do you want to know? And then we had the H, the L, the K, sorry, we had the K, what do you want to know? And then we had, what do you know? What do you want to know? How will you get it? And now the L. So the L, what have you learned? What one little thing that you picked up, maybe not something that you were looking for, but that you learned, because sometimes we don't always learn what we set out to learn. Sometimes we learn other things, which is sometimes even better. Because when we don't know something, we don't know what we want to know, right? So research, AI tools for research. I've named a few of them. Which one appeals to you? Maybe the name, aware of many more of the evolving apps for research. How to get into through. Okay, great. I'm wonderful because I repeated that a few times. So I'm glad that you're able to do that, and you will do that. Anything else that stuck out that you can put under the L? Perplexity. Yeah, it's amazing. You will be. Oh, plus it has, when you ask for something, it gives you all the sources. I didn't mention this. With ChatGPT, even the Pro, you don't get the sources. You have to ask. You have to keep prompting to ask for it. With Perplexity, it gives you everything, and it offers you more questions. In other words, you don't have to do the prompting. It does the prompting for you. It suggests other areas that you might be interested in related to your topic. So whether it's a research article, whether it's about someone, it's so much better. You can forget about using Google search engine or any other search engine. This is the perfect search engine as far as I'm concerned. But as I said again, it's not getting enough coverage and marketing. I don't know what business plan it has, but it's not that well known, which is a shame because it's absolutely amazing. And I hope it will, more people will be using it and taking advantage of all the information. How do you get to Perplexity? Well, you'll find the link right there. Just write Perplexity AI, and you'll be able to get the link. Perplexity AI. It's a wonderful search engine that provides you with prompt questions and ideas that you might be interested in. And you just click on it and it gives you. So it takes you You can spend days on Perplexity. But as I said, it's not as popular, and popularity seems to be winning. ChatGPT um, is something that everybody wants to know about and wants to try out. And they don't bother with something like Perplexity. Thank you for adding that, Val. And there's another search engine that's completely based on, and that's you.com. How many of you have heard of you.com? I don't know if that's the right link. I hope it is. You.com. Have you tried you? It's a search engine. Never, exactly, because it's not getting. I mean, Google has, the United States wants to sue Google, but it seems to have has blinded us. We go to the supermarket and we buy the same things over and over again. We're not willing to try new brands. And the question is, why? Why are we stuck with the old brand and are not open to trying new ones? And this is what I'm here for, to encourage you to try these tools. Try Perplexity. Try you.com, for example. Try new tools. Oh, you heard it from me. I have a video called I Love You. And it's about you.com. I think I did that maybe last year or the year before. And it's free, of course, because there are some search engines, AI-powered search engines that are not free, many that are not free. In other words, for educators, we're looking for free things, but businesses, there are a lot of AI tools that are quite expensive, geared for the business world, not for the education world. So we don't know about either of them. And I think it's time that we tried them out. Thank you for adding that. We'll see you tomorrow at our next session on VW MOOC 24. Thank you.